Peter Fortune.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I congratulate the member for North Shropshire for securing this debate and the Backbench Business Committee for granting it. I would also like to thank all members for their valuable contributions. The previous Conservative government understood how important UK-wide mobile and broadband coverage is to the public and to our economy. That is why it put in place ambitious plans to ensure that people across the United Kingdom have access to this essential infrastructure regardless of their location. The shared rural network, announced in 2020, secured significant investment of around £500 million from the largest mobile network operators. Under the SRN, private investment is complemented by government funding for the construction of masts in the most underserved locations, with additional coverage provided by the Emergency Services Network programme. For 4G, the Conservative government set a target of 95% geographic coverage from at least one mobile network operator by the end of 2025. By January 2025, 30 government-funded mast upgrades went live, enhancing local connectivity without erecting new masts. And according to Ofcom, as of July 2025, 96% of the UK landmass had 4G coverage from at least one operator, exceeding the previous government's target. I'm proud of the last Conservative government's record of delivery under the SRN, and I welcome that the current government maintains the coverage commitments made under the scheme. However, despite the progress made up to this point, there are still some acute challenges, as we have heard from members today. If I go to my honourable friend from Berkshire, who talked about the reality of living in rural areas with poor coverage, which was echoed by the member for Stafford, and the impact it has, especially on farmers. And I think it was an important point about the switch from 2G to 3G and not rushing that process. The member for Ely and East Cambridgeshire, she will let us know if Ofcom take up her very generous offer to come and visit, and knowing how beautiful Ely is, they would be mad not to. My honourable friend for East Grinstead and Uckfield, I was very sad to hear that she'd split up with Vodafone. Yeah, but sad. It is sad, but with Valentine's Day just around the corner, perhaps there is the opportunity to reconnect. Yeah, and it's my first time. And it was also good to hear from the member from Kevavin, who's having similar issues with Vodafone. Could I suggest she takes a leaf out of my honourable friend's book and kidnaps one of their government relations people and maybe gets her way that way? My friend from Chester South and Eddersbury was, as ever, on the front foot, serving her constituents with her mobile survey and highlighting the issue of digital isolation and the impact that can have on mental health. And my honourable friend from Bromsgrove talked about the impact on online banking. With the closure of front counters, we need that connectivity in order to keep these services alive, as was echoed by the member from Lewis, who talked about the impact on real people. I was sad to hear that for my honourable friend to take a text message, he had to run upstairs and hang out of a window to get some reception. Now I know that. I will give way.
I thank him for giving way. For avoidance of doubt, I did not have to do that, but I know many people who do.
Thank you for that clarification. It saves me a bit of time, as I was going to spend all weekend texting him. So we've heard real issues about how mobile phone connectivity is impacting people. Based on commercial mapping of 113 local council areas across the UK, EE offers acceptable coverage in only 69% of the UK, Vodafone 61%, O2 50% and 3 38%. Now, I know the previous minister engaged with Ofcom on improving data collection standards to get a more accurate picture of 4G coverage. This resulted in Ofcom launching its online coverage checker in June 2025, incorporating some improvements. The urgency of ensuring that everyone has reliable mobile phone coverage is becoming ever more pressing as public services are increasingly digitised. The last government recognised the need to tackle non-commercial barriers to the rollout of digital infrastructure by amending planning legislation. However, as planning is a devolved matter, standards are not consistent across the 4 nations. So I would ask, what discussions has the Minister had with his counterparts in the devolved administrations on this matter? On 5G rollout, the Conservative government set a target of nationwide coverage of standalone 5G to all populated areas of the UK by 2030. The development of this infrastructure has been market-led, with commercial investment having achieved 5G coverage from at least one operator over approximately 65% of the UK landmass. In December, the government launched its call for evidence on reforming planning rules to accelerate deployment of digital infrastructure. The call for evidence is due to end on the 26th of February. Given the urgency of this matter, when does the Minister expect to be able to update the House on the outcome of the call for evidence and the government's proposals for planning reform? Touching briefly on broadband, I welcome the publication of the draft statement of strategic priorities yesterday and know that businesses will appreciate the clarity that this has provided. The continuation of the Conservatives' commitment to competition is welcome, and it is important that as the telecoms market consolidates and the CMA watches over this process, that competition is actively upheld to reduce consumer costs and continue improving services. There is clearly cross-party agreement that we need to do more to ensure rural areas have improved connectivity. And I hope that the Minister will engage constructively with all members who have contributed to achieve this.
Yeah.